Hello there, lovely people. This is Ashley here, sending my love to you from whatever reality I'm in today to whatever reality you find yourself in. Well, as you can see by the title of this video, I believe that Lewis Carroll is Mandela affected. And I'm going to explain why. This will be one of a few. I think this is going to be a few. There's going to be a few videos I'll be doing on this. But to start off with, the icon that I use for my profile, I use the Cheshire Cat with his saying, "I'm not crazy. It's just that my reality is different to yours." And that's not because it fits in perfectly with the Mandela effect, but also I'm actually from Cheshire. And to my American friends, it's Cheshire, but it's shire. Whenever you hear it's not Shire, it's shire. So it's Cheshire and Berkshire. Please understand that. So the Cheshire Cat means something to me because I'm actually from Cheshire. My family is still there now. So I started to look at the sayings of the Cheshire Cat because I thought, let's see, because the Cheshire Cat he's in and out of reality in Alice in Wonderland. So it made perfect sense to try and have a look a little bit more and see if there were any hints as to what, about what did Lewis Carroll think of reality. Well, basically, I think that he was Mandela affected because of that. And the reason why I'm saying it's actually possible is that I've been affected by reality changes since my teens in the 80s. And from being Mandela affected and coming online, I've spoken to many people that have, 60 plus, that have been having changes all their lives. So I do think that it's perfectly possible for Lewis Carroll to have been Mandela affected. So I went looking, and I believe that he used he used the Cheshire Cat as to explain the reality changes and the fluidity of reality. And I think I'm sorry about this. I've got absolutely no pride. Look, I've got to put these on to read. There's no arms on them, but I can't get any more because of this bloody corona shit. So bear with me, please, while I just look like an idiot. Anyway, I decided to go and investigate. So I started off by having a look at some of the Cheshire Cat's sayings, and they are very, very telling. Obviously you've got that first one that is on my thing. I'm not crazy. My reality is just different from yours. That's one that everybody kind of knows, and it sums it up perfectly. But also, there are other things that he says. And I'll start. This is something he says, which is like quite mind-blowing. He says, "The world is full of bugs. Blocks every which where. Because of the bugs, everybody's memory scattered all about." I mean, hello? The Cheshire Cat is saying the world is full of bugs. Blocks every which where. Because of the bugs, everybody's memory scattered all about. That's an incredible thing for the Cheshire Cat to say, isn't it? So I think, as I said, I think that Lewis Carroll uses the Cheshire Cat to try and work out reality. And then we have him saying things like, "Imagination is the only weapon in the war against reality." The Cheshire Cat says imagination is the only weapon in the war against reality. A war against reality? That makes you think, doesn't it? That makes you stop and think. And then only a few find the way. Some don't recognise it when they do, and some don't ever want to. Now that's very similar to what we go through also, isn't it? And then this one. "The uninformed must improve their deficit or die." The Cheshire Cat says the uninformed must improve their deficit or die. Now, remember, this is all about reality. The Cheshire Cat is complete reality, and that's what he's saying. Get yourself informed or you're going to die. Whoa. Then he says, another one that he says is, "Once you believe the truth and the lie are the same thing, let your heart decide. It's in your heart you must confide." "It doesn't matter if you believe me or not, but common sense doesn't really work here anymore. You're mad, I'm mad, we're all mad." Now, something you have to understand is that madness and craziness are not the same thing, okay? It's not the same thing. madness is, well, the Cheshire Cat himself explains madness later on. I'll leave it to him. But this is a very telling thing. He said, the Cheshire Cat says, a reflection sometimes exposes more reality than the object it echoes. A reflection sometimes exposes more reality than the object it echoes. So is he trying to say that we're just a reflection of reality? Is that what he's saying? Is that what he's saying? A reflection of reality is what we're experiencing. Really, really, really does make you think. Now, before I go into what Alice has to say, because I do believe that Alice represents himself and his own experience of reality changes. And during Alice in Wonderland, it's like a narration that runs through it. And one of the narrations is, Alice's memory words are here and there, but other memory words are there and here. Hard to say which are hers and which are not. Now, that makes perfect sense to us. Alice's memory words are here and there, but other memory words are there and here. Hard to say which are hers and which are not. That's just exactly like Sex and the City, Sex in the City. It's exactly like that, isn't it? And it's like Lewis Carroll narrating about Alice's memory. So we then go on to Alice's memory. And, right, we'll start. I'm just going to read this. This is an actual excerpt out of the book. And it says, "Dear, dear, how queer." Now, before we go any further, queer just means strange back then. So, dear, dear, how queer. Everything is today, and yesterday things went on just as normal. I wonder if I've been changed in the night. Let me think. Was I the same person when I got up this morning? I almost think I can remember feeling a little different. But I'm not the same. The next question is, who in the world am I? Hello? 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 As I said, I think this is Lewis Carroll talking through her. Ah, that's the great puzzle, says Alice. As she began to think about the children that she knew that were the same age as herself, to see if she could have been changed for any of them. Now, that's exactly what we go through. Here we've got Lewis Carroll using Alice to think about whether she's changed as a person to her friends that she knows that are the same age as her. This is the sort of thing we go through. And then she starts to think about it, and she says, I'm sure I'm not Ada, for her hair goes in such long ringlets, and mine doesn't go in ringlets at all. So she's trying to put herself, see if she's swapped places with any of her friends. And then she says, I'm sure I can't be Mabel, for I know all sorts of things, and she knows such very little. Besides, she is she, and I am I, and oh dear, how puzzling this all is. I'll try if I know all the things that I used to know. Let me see. So here she is trying to think about, she's trying to think about, could she have changed places with any of her friends? But then she realises that they're them and she's her, like I'm me and you're you. That's it. We haven't changed places. We're still ourselves, is basically what he's saying, although everything around has changed. He even feels, through Alice, that he has changed himself. Right, so it says, and here we get Alice now trying to remember things. So she says, I'll try and see if I know the little things I used to know. Let me see. 4 times 5 is 12, and 4 times 6 is 13, and 4 times 7 is... Oh dear, I shall never get to 20 at this rate. However, the multiplication table doesn't signify. So she realises that, trying to see changes in maths is not going to be any different. So let's try geography. Now, bear in mind, we've seen geography changes, but I doubt very much that Lewis Carroll did in his time. But she says, London is the capital of Paris and Paris is the capital of Rome. No, that's all wrong, I'm certain. So it's saying that there's confusion in his head. Although it sounds like nonsense there, it's actually showing that the things that we see have changed, to us, those changes are nonsense. Right, and here we go. I must have been changed for Mabel. I must have been changed for Mabel. How doth the little... And she crosses her hands. You see there, how doth the little... She's trying to remember things at that point, so it all gets a bit confusing. So she's like, how doth the little... And then she crosses her hands on her lap as if she was saying lessons and began to repeat it. But her voice sounded hoarse and strange, and the words did not come the same as they used to. Now, I get that quite a lot. I'm not sure whether you do, but I do. And then she continues, how doth the little crocodile improve his shining tail and pair the waters of the Nile and every golden scale? I'm sure those are not the right words, said poor Alice as her eyes filled with tears. She went on, I must be Mabel after all, and I have to go and live in that poky little house and have next to no toys to play with, and oh, ever so many lessons to learn. No, I've made up my mind about it. If I'm Mabel, I'm staying down here until I'm somebody else. But, oh dear, cried Alice with a sudden burst into tears. I do wish they would put their heads down. I'm so very tired of being all alone here. So she's basically saying that if she's somebody else, if she's Mabel or Ada, she wants to stay where she is. But if she's herself, she's hoping that other people that are like her put their head down the rabbit hole, because she's lonely down there, which says to me that Lewis Carroll is seeing the changes and he's hoping to God somebody else sees the changes and joins him down the frigging rabbit hole. It's quite clear. I do wish they would put their heads down. I'm so very tired of being here alone, and we know how alone we all feel. We know how alone we all feel. Even our loved ones don't see the same things we do, and I think Lewis Carroll is going through the same. And then we've got Alice and some of the things that Alice has said. I can't go back to yesterday. I was a different person then. Now, we know that we're a different person to the one we were yesterday. We're not even in the same body, are we? Just looks like the same body. Again, she says, I can't explain myself, I'm afraid, sir, because I'm not myself. I knew who I was this morning, but I've changed a few times since then. Now, hello. This is Lewis Carroll talking about his reality changes and using his niece, Alice, to put the story onto. And then here we have her talking to the Mad Hatter. And she says, but I don't want to be among the mad, said Alice. Oh, you can't help that, said the cat. We're all mad here. I'm mad, you're mad. How do you know I'm mad, said Alice. You must be, said the cat, or you wouldn't have come. Now, do you remember I said that madness and craziness are not the same thing? And they aren't, and in a minute, the Cheshire Cat himself explains that. But that there is Lewis Carroll saying that there's got to be something different about him, because he's seeing things he wouldn't have come, it wouldn't have happened if he wasn't mad. Other people aren't seeing it, and if he wasn't mad, and I don't mean crazy, if he wasn't mad, he wouldn't have seen it. You have to be a certain sort of mindset, I think it means. Right, and here we have the Cheshire Cat. The Cheshire Cat explaining madness. Remember, the Cheshire Cat actually represents reality. I believe, anyway. Right. To begin with, said the cat, a dog's not mad. You grant that? I suppose so, said Alice. Well then, the cat went on, you see, a dog growls when it's angry and wags its tail when it's pleased. Now, when I growl, I'm happy, and when I wag my tail, I'm angry. Therefore, I'm mad. I call it purring, not growling, said Alice. Call it what you like, said the cat. Whoa. I'm going to say that again. To begin with, said the cat, a dog's not mad. Grant that? I suppose so, said Alice. Well then, the cat went on. You see, a dog growls when it's angry and wags its tail when it's pleased. Now I growl when I'm happy and wag my tail when I'm angry. Therefore, I'm mad. I call it purring, not growling, said Alice. Call it what you like, said the cat. So that's showing madness. Madness only looks like madness if you're not like us. That's basically what he was saying. That's basically what he was saying. If you're a dog, you know, and the dog wags its, that's self-explanatory. That is Lewis Carroll using the cat as reality to explain what's going on. That really, what is the definition of madness? It's just seeing a different reality, isn't it? So yes, that's part one of my belief that Lewis Carroll was Mandela affected. What do you think? Till next time, lovely people, sending you my love, whether you're Mandela affected or not.